Hello everybody, it is Sunday evening, and you know what that means? It's time for SNL, the Sunday Night League. This is my second attempt at getting it to stream. I'm confident it has worked this time. Last time it did not. I don't know what happened, truth be told, but it did not. Hopefully everything has righted itself, though. And I will just double check now that I can be heard, because if not, that is going to be very frustrating. Right. I can. That is excellent. Wonderful. So, we are here during qualifying, and as soon as I am... Oh, hold on. I will fix this stuff here. All. Yes. I believe we usually have this off. And... yeah. So, we're here. In Le Mans. Thank you for confirmation that the stream is working, Jam. We are here in Le Mans. It is, I believe, SNL's first ever multi-class event. So we've got some LMP1s and some GTE cars, or GT3 cars. The drivers had free reign over which cars they chose to use. However, the trend you will notice is that all of the LMP1 drivers have actually unanimously decided, just separately I would assume, but they've all chosen to use the Porsche 919, which is a beautiful car, won Le Mans a couple times. And so it'll be completely even between them in terms of car. The drivers were allowed to customize their setups slightly. Hello, Alan Sykes. It is Bunnies here, yep. Oh, of course, yes. Jam, thank you for reminding me. We had the Group 2 and Group 3 multi-class event at the Nürburgring, the Nordschleife, a little while ago. I should remember that. I raced in it. That was quite a good race. If this race is anything near as good as that was, it'll be absolutely worth watching. And I think everyone should be very excited for it. We are in qualifying at the moment. M. Hyde here is in P1 with a 321.1. Now, admittedly, we are using a practice session for qualifying, so it is, because of when I joined the lobby, it is technically possible that there are people ahead. But I can't say for certain. I can only say off of what I can see right now. So, and based off of that, we have our Polish M. Hyde in the lead at the moment. The lead, I say, provisional pole position. VRC Pat in second. Cool Dude Boy in third. Pavsky in fourth. Pavsky. And we have another pole putting himself up the order. What just happened? Oh, it's time for the race. Okay, M. Hyde is on provisional pole. Matt Psycho in second. DRP Marson in third. Speckmayer in fourth. Jam in fifth. Pat sixth. And on pole for the GT class is Cool Dude Boy. There's the rest of the field. We'll go through them in a moment, but we want to see the leaders for now. M. Hyde is going to lead us away on this 40-lap event. There's a chance of rain. We don't know what'll happen, though, and we are going racing here in Le Mans. It's a good start. It's a rolling start, of course, so not tons of opportunities right off the bat. Starting 5. Sorry, wrong button. Oh, Speed Hunter is around, actually. Oh, up at the front, though. No movement yet. It looks like Jam defending from Pat a little bit. Cool Dude Boy leads the GT class. Behind, everyone seems okay, except Wolfbane has gone quite slowly. I wonder if he maybe hit Speed Hunter and was waiting for him. Ever the sportsman, Wolfbane. And that is some running wide from Speckmayer and Matt Psycho up at the front. So the LMPs, unsurprisingly, pulling away quite a bit down the Mulsanne straight for the first time. Let's look behind us. Is Matt Psycho going to challenge M. Hyde here? He doesn't look like it. All of the LMPs decently well spread out. Matt's getting a little bit closer, and I believe what is a Leighton House livery? Yes, it is. Oh, Matt nearly going for the move into the first Mulsanne chicane. Let's look back at the GTs quickly. That is Jam. Something's happened to Jam earlier, but he is now ahead of Cool Dude Boy, putting himself back ahead of all the GT cars. So, got all the GT cars running relatively smoothly from the looks of it. Cool Dude Boy leads us away in that class. Matt Psycho back up at the front. Matt Psycho right behind Hyde. What will Matt look to do on the run down to Mulsanne? He hasn't done anything into the second Mulsanne chicane. The Jota livery on Specmare looking very beautiful, both on track in Le Mans in real life and here today. I've had the pleasure of seeing both with my own eyes, and I'm also getting the pleasure of watching Marson go down the inside of Specmare into Mulsanne, so he takes third with that Devil Rider's car. Ooh, and that is Specmare running a little bit wide. Is that going to give Pat an opportunity? Very cool offset onboard camera, but looking back at the GTs, Cool Dude Boy, no challenge at the moment. Looking back, it doesn't really look like any of the GT cars can really challenge each other at the moment. Spreading out a little bit. But we've got some more battles here. Specmare down the inside. Can he do anything? No, but Pat into third. What a move. Oh, a bit of contact. Oh, and that is a spin. There's a spin for DRP Marson at Indianapolis. Oh, that sounded like more spinning, possibly. No, doesn't seem to have been. Maybe just a bit of oversteer. So that is utterly disappointing for the pole, but it's a lap 1 of 40. Plenty of opportunity for more moves to be made. Our top two remains the same from the start of the race. That blue Leighton House car chasing down the pole of M. Hyde. Matt Psycho, M. Hyde. M. Hyde new to the league. We've never seen him race before, so this is certainly a powerful showing from the debutant. But Matt Psycho, ever the great driver, we've seen him triumph many a times in SNL. Will we see him do it again, or will we see a new winner today? It's a bit early to say. It's only lap 2 now, but Pat, I think, will be quite happy in third. He's got a few seconds back to DRP Marson. Oh, and Jam hits. So that is Jam hitting off of the mediums. The mediums were a tire that you had to use one time throughout this race. At any given point, a stint had to be on the medium tires. Jam has done that for his first stint. Have any of the GT cars done that? SNL Wolfbane is on the mediums in that Huracan. Is that a Huracan? I think so. Is that yeah, that's a Lamborghini. So Jam has disposed of his mediums right away. Will Wolfbane do that? He does not. Wolfbane going more than one lap on the mediums. Are any of the other LMPs using mediums? They are not. So Jam and Wolfbane, the outliers there with the strategy, starting on mediums. I have completely ignored the chat, sorry. It's too bad you can't be racing today, Sarlacc. We were looking forward to seeing you racing again. Glad to see you are watching the stream, though. Lots of support for the various drivers in the race. Matt getting some support, Jam as well. Matt in second, of course. Jam, it's interesting, can't really say how he's doing because he did just take an early pit stop. We'll see, does that undercut pay off, or will the drivers who are perhaps saving those tires, the mediums, the mandatory mediums, or maybe they'll be saving it to the end of the race, hoping for rain? Can't really say for the time being. But Matt, what we can say for the time being is that Matt is right on the back of M. Hyde. Let's ride words, please. Let's ride on board with Matt Psycho for just a moment as we head down what is now the longest straight on the circuit. Ever since the Mulsanne chicanes were introduced, this has actually become the longest straight on the circuit, despite Mulsanne being the notorious long straight at Le Mans, the Circuit de la Salle. Into Indianapolis now. Matt can't make a move for now. He's a bit too far back. Can he do anything into Arnage, though? Arnage is said to be one of, if not the best place on the circuit to watch the race in real life. For now, we're watching on board with Matt in Gran Turismo 7, though. It's a glorious corner to watch nonetheless. Empide pulled away a couple tenths since Mulsanne corner. Speckmayer in 5th. Marson in 4th, and then your podium at the moment is Pat, Matt, and Hyde. As for GTE, though, the current podium is Cool Dude Boy, the only man ahead of an LMP car, other than the other LMP cars, of course. Jam surely will be overtaking him in a moment. That is just one of the quirks of multi-class racing with different strategies. You sometimes get thrown into a bit of a traffic when you don't expect it. So, Jam here in his beautiful white and black livery, chasing down livery with a lot of stuff on it that Cool Dude Boy is driving with. It looked like Cool Dude Boy might have just barely hit the wall there. It was difficult to tell. Pavsky is in 8th overall, 2nd in class, but he's under pressure from Intulu. Can Intulu do anything into the Porsche curves? Track limits. Yeah, there's lots of... We sort of trust in this league the drivers to sort of, I think, just drive fairly. We expect them to use their better judgment with track limits, and if anybody is suspicious or believes that somebody is not following the rules with that, they are allowed to report the potential track limits infringements, at which point the stewards will look through the race, and if they find that people are exceeding track limits, often gaining an advantage through it, then they will take action, of course. Now here, though, no track limits to worry about down the straight, really, but Matt Psycho does have a car to worry about. He wants to take the lead here. Or is he perhaps saving fuel very early in 7th gear? Revs weren't very high, but he was already there. Is it possible he was saving fuel? Or is that just a tactic to go faster? Matt is at the front of the field with Hyde, so he'd be the one who knows. I can't say. Pat is, well, I think that's track limits right there. Pat, though, running a very solid race so far, in 3rd, in that beautiful orange and black Porsche. All of the LMP cars, of course, Porsches today. That's not by force, that is by choice of all the drivers. Lots of also Porsche GTE cars, GT3 cars. Has to be said, Intulu patiently sitting right behind Pavsky. One of our new drivers, Pavsky, which is why I apologize sincerely if I'm mispronouncing the name. I apologize to anyone who I am doing that to, but especially Pavsky, Hyde, and Marson. These three are debutants in this league. This is their first race in SNL, and we wish them a warm welcome, and sincerest apologies if we're mispronouncing the names. A good battle here between M. Hyde and Matt Psycho, though. Very interested to see if Matt can pull off a move in the next couple laps. He's been drifting around from about 2 to 6 tenths of a second behind the pole throughout the past lap or so. Good line through the Porsche curves from Matt there. Let's see. Ooh, it looks like he might have touched the grass a tiny bit, but gets away with it if he did. And these two, it has to be said, are pulling away from Pat, who himself has a pretty solid gap back to Marson and Speckmayer. Speckmayer will be desperately trying to catch up to Marson. And Jam, really in no man's land. That early pit stop put him off of rotation with the other LMP cars, but of course, being an LMP car, he's well ahead of Cool Dude Boy, who at the moment, it must be said, has a dominant lead over in Tulu, who Avsguy's actually dropped 2 positions. I've missed that. Apologize for that. I'm not sure what's happened there. But Pad Payoso is going for a move on in Tulu now, and Tulu tucks into the slipstream of that Fanta Porsche. Will Tulu be able to do anything in return? Looks like he's just going to sit tight into Indianapolis. Apologies for my failure of a pronunciation of that for a moment. Both drivers looking a little bit scruffy on the exit, but no positions gained or lost through there. Ooh, big slide there for Ntulu. Well done to save the car on that account. Cinnamod using an Audi. So, Cinnamod, I don't believe he's raced in SNL in a little while, so good to see him back. We'll see if he can put himself higher than his current, I believe, in-class 5th position. Oh, and Matt has taken the lead. Matt has taken the lead. I apologize for missing that. Based on the gap, I wonder if there was a mistake from Hyde. It's a shame I've missed that. But yeah, no, he's taken the lead. He's got a second worth of a gap back now. I wonder, both drivers looking okay on their tires, though Hyde has a little bit more tire wear on, what is that, the front tires. So, it's possible he lost a little bit of grip. It's hard to say, though. Speckmayer and DRP Marson quite close together still. Pat, I'd say those two are catching up to him, but Pat's still looking pretty comfortable in third. As it is Hyde's turn to be the hunter, and Matt's to be the hunted. Will that Leighton House Porsche pull away or fall back? We shall see in the coming laps. Looking back to the GT section, Cool Dude Boy looking very comfortable out in front with a 12.5 second lead over Bad Payoso. Bad Payoso has built up a second back to Ntulu though, so it looks like Ntulu might be struggling a little bit in that dirty air. It's hard to say in that Porsche through Tartre Rouge. Does he gain or lose time? It looks like he loses time a little bit on the exit, but he will have the slipstream to help him out down the Mulsanne straight. All 3 sections of it even. Down at the back, Rob on drums running a couple seconds behind SNL Wolfbane, about 4.2 seconds back. So he's not too far off the back. I wouldn't say any of the GT cars are outright out of contention. Certainly some that are straggling around at the back a little bit more though. SNL, Wolfbane, Rob on drums in that group. Speed Hunter though, I would say, has pretty much caught Cinnamod. He's 2.8 seconds off the back of the Audi. So Cinnamod, I'd have to say the GT class is definitely spreading out a little bit. Cool Dude Boy has a solid lead. Not too much of a gap between these 2 Porsches, and Ntulu and Bad Payoso. DRP Pavsky isn't far off either. These 3 Porsches, just noticed they're all in Porsches, yes. They are all together. I'd say that is our closest battle in the GT class at the moment for sure. Up to the front though, Matt has a 1.5 second gap to Hyde behind, so the Polish driver, not anything he can really do at the moment, as the graphics on the side of my screen decide they're just going to show us every car on the grid apparently. Or certainly almost every car. So that is M. Hyde. Oh, he's 1.7 off now, so he's lost a couple tenths even since I started speaking. He's got 5 seconds back to VRC Pat. There's not a cloud in the sky. Well, that's a lie. There's lots of clouds, but no rain clouds out in the sky at the moment. So I'd say rain is not something the drivers will be worried about right now. But we've had a team endurance event here before. It was an excellent race. Our winners that day, it was a single class event. Our winners that day were SNL Wolfbane working with Cool Dude Boy. So Cool Dude Boy continuing on the legacy of at the moment, leading, I should say, the Le Mans event. SNL Wolfbane unfortunately not quite able to say the same. Was that an overtake I saw? Was it? I don't believe so. Being said, and Tulu right ahead of Pavsky, so these two are quite close together, and you might notice Cool Dude Boy is incredibly low on fuel right now. He's gonna have to pit this lap. And he does. Bad Payoso, not looking brilliant on fuel, but he's not looking in desperate need of a pit stop. Cool Dude Boy pits with 0% left. Does Bad Payoso pit? He does. And Tulu stays out another lap. Pavsky does pit himself, though. So in Tulu, it looks like he's been fuel saving a little bit. He's got more than a quarter of his tank left. These three in the pits, though. Will Cinemod pit? He does not. Speed Hunter does, though, with his OnlyFans McLaren, apparently. SNL Wolfbane into the pits as well. He's looking... Yeah, him and Speed Hunter are both looking not amazing on fuel. Rob on Drums has been saving fuel as well. So that is SNL Wolfbane's medium stint done. He does not need to complete another medium stint. And, oh wow, look at that. Matt is... How many seconds purple was that? Was that 2.3 seconds purple or so? That was incredible. Shall we see now, though? 2.4 seconds back is M-Hyde. Neither of these drivers looking like they need to pit. M-Hyde has about exactly half of his fuel left. Matt Psycho, a bit under half, closer to a third, but certainly not looking low on fuel. I'd say, more accurately describing a third, though, of fuel left is Pat. So Pat struggling on fuel compared to the two ahead of him a little bit. Looking back, oh, that is a GT car coming out of the pits. So we now get to see this lapped traffic, and oh, that's Cool Dude Boy. He goes down the inside. Does he get the move done on Bad Payoso? Specmayor there threading the needle, and Cool Dude Boy makes the move stick. Ooh, that is that Marcin getting boxed in? It is. Marcin makes it past Bad Payoso in his LMP1 car, and he's through on Cool Dude Boy as well. The lapping procedure is pretty much GT cars, stay on the racing line, drive as you usually would, try not to be unpredictable, but stay on the racing line, go quickly. It is the LMP1 car's responsibility to make overtakes without contact. So I'd say it looked like Pat, Hyde, and M-Hyde and Matt Psycho are the three LMP cars that made it through the first lapping pretty successfully. No big dramas having to lap anyone. I believe they all were past the pit exit when the GT cars were starting to come out. And here we have Marcin gaining on Specmayor. Is he gonna make a move? Goes round the outside. Might be through before the braking zone even. And he is. Specmayor, is there anything he's going to be able to do? We're watching from inside the cockpit. Nothing he can do to come back at Marcin. SNL Jam, he's a little ways back, but across 40 laps, well, 34 remaining laps, that's not an insurmountable gap, so I would not count SNL Jam out of this. And Tulu currently leading the GTE class that is on strategy. I do not know who is in the net lead, whether that'll be Cool Dude Boy or in Tulu, as Matt Psycho makes his first lap, or laps the first of the cars he has to lap. I don't know why I couldn't figure out how to word that. But Matt Psycho is through on some lapped cars. M-Hyde makes it through alright on Rob as well. Rob doing his job, just sticking to a predictable driving manner. Pat, will he come up to the back of Rob before the end of the lap? If he does, it's going to be at a pretty awkward point. It's going to be during the Porsche curves, it looks like. Let's look at Matt, see if he's going to need to pit this lap. Goes purple by a bit, and then I flipped away, so sorry. Shall we see? 1.81 tenths it said on the screen. And Tulu is in the pits. It'll be interesting to see as Pat, that is a very nice overtake. Just lapping Rob on drums, nonetheless, very smooth, round the outside of Porsche curves. Pat, does he pit? He does not. He's looking a little worse on fuel than Matt Psycho, though M. Hyde in particular, I think he's saving fuel at the moment, because he is certainly looking very good on fuel. Rob on drums. Ooh, spins out of the 4 chicanes. Flips the grass and can't keep it going forwards. Good of him staying off the racing line. Is there anybody going by there? It looks like there was an LMP, possibly. So, in Tulu, still in the pits, it's a slow refuel. It means a lot of strategy is necessary. Do you go for less pit stops, or is it that damaging to sit in the pits for that long, or is it worth it? The Cool Dude Boy goes across the line. He's gonna go past the pit exit now. And Tulu, he's ahead of Intulu. Is Bad Payoso gonna come out in front of Intulu? Intulu, oh, come on. Intulu is overtaken by Bad Payoso. I believe he was already behind him. He seems to have lost a little bit of time, though, so the undercut perhaps a little bit more powerful. That being said, Cool Dude Boy's fuel was struggling last stint in comparison to Bad Payoso. This stint, it's just the exact same, though, interestingly, Bad Payoso has not replaced his soft tires from the start of the race. So that is absolutely intriguing. How is that strategy playing out? He decided the time loss from switching tires wasn't worth the time loss of worn tires. We'll see how that pans out. Specmare in the pits, so I did not catch on to that initially. Specmare in the pits. So he and Jam are the only drivers to have made pit stops so far, and I tell you what, Jam is a 27 seconds now ahead of Specmare. That is an enormous gap. So the undercut seems to have worked magnificently for Jam. We'll have to wait and see now where Matt Psycho and Hyde, DRC Pat, and DRP Marson come out in comparison to Jam. As my mouth has gotten very dry, I meant to get a water bottle before the race. I apologize. I will leave the camera on Speed Hunter because he's closing in on Intulu, and I'm gonna grab water because I can barely speak right now. Apologies. Right, my sincerest apologies about that. Back to the action, though. Doesn't look like there's been any position change since I left. Pat goes into the pits now, though. So I would say keep an eye on where SNL Jam is on track. And Cool Dude Boy. Cool Dude Boy... No, that makes sense. Rob on drums hasn't pitted yet. He's been saving fuel. I was about to say Cool Dude Boy had lost the lead. He isn't technically in the lead, but he is in the net lead, given... Well, Rob on drums is about to pit, I should hope. I don't think he can make that much fuel go another lap. Oh, Pat and Marson are both in the pits, so let's look at Jam. He's going through the Porsche curves, just clips the wall there, doesn't lose too much speed though. I think the dirty air of Cool Dude Boy will be affecting him here. Slides around the outside, goes a little bit wide, but I think that's excusable, trying to avoid the slower Mercedes GT car. SNL Jam coming across the 4 chicanes. Pat only 50, 60, 62. He's not far into his refueling. Well, I mean, he is, but it's got a while left, and Jam is through comfortably. we'll have to watch the gap between Pat and Jam when Pat comes out of the pits. Because I tell you what, Jam is making excellent inroads at the moment into these guys' gaps. Now, of course, he will need to make a similar amount of pit stops, but having already done his medium stint, he has a significant advantage over the rest of the LMP cars. He is 18 seconds ahead of Pat. I believe that if... Oh, that sounded like spinning. Is everybody okay back here? They are not, and Tulu has spun round. Not sure what's happened there. He's now staying out of the way of the LMP cars. Very sportsmanlike from him there. SNL Wolfbane is too far back to catch and overtake Ntulu from that mistake. Not sure what happened to Ntulu there. Certainly it wasn't good, though. Blue flags here. That's the LMPs overtaking the GTs. And Speed Hunter is into second place in class. So he's ahead of Bad Payoso now, the two Americans, charging along, both in sort of blue and orange-ish cars. Speed Hunter is in a McLaren. So the different cars on the grid, all of the LMPs are in Porsches, but I think the variety in the GT class is quite exceptional. I'll go over that in just a second, but first I want to point out, Matt Psycho has an 8-second lead to M. Hyde, and I believe it's about to throw that Leighton House car into the pits. And he does. M. Hyde surely will do the same thing. No, he might be able to go for another lap even. And he does. Jam is actually looking quite low on fuel now. He's lower than M. Hyde. I think Jam will have to pit this lap. I suspect he's been burning fuel, pushing quite hard to catch up to the rest of the LMP group. As here comes Pat. He has to overtake Cool Dude Boy. And he goes through down the inside. No problems there. Pretty smooth overtake from him. As I was saying earlier though, the variety in the GT class is quite interesting. We've got the Mercedes of Cool Dude Boy here, followed by a McLaren for Speed Hunter. Bad Payoso's just gone off at Mulsanne, because Ntulu has overtaken him in his Porsche. Bad Payoso, of course, also in a Porsche. Wolfbane in that Huracan Lamborghini. They'll be looking to make the overtake on Bad Payoso next. Pavsky, DRP Pavsky, also in a Porsche, got an Audi for GT87 Cinemod, and Rob on drums in a Porsche as well. GT87 Cinemod, the only GT87 driver here today. Fortunately, GT87 Tiger was going to race as well, but he had to pull out pretty last minute. Unfortunately, it's a shame we can't see him racing today. Yellow flags. Ooh, wow, that was Specmare flying through on Cool Dude Boy, both running a little bit wide. This is going to be an awkward place for Marson. Cool Dude Boy stays out of the way nicely. It's a very sportsmanlike from Cool Dude Boy, who proceeds to make a mistake through the four chicanes, that dirty air presumably causing that, and Jam is in the pits with 1% fuel left. So he falls back behind Marson and Specmare. Pat, Matt Psycho, and of course M. Hyde, who still needs to pit, is out in the lead. I would suspect Matt Psycho is the net lead, but the physical on-track lead does go to M. Hyde at the moment. Of course, GT7 does not have safety cars, so waiting out, trying to get a safety car is not something drivers will be trying to do. This is purely fuel and pit stop based strategy. So Jam, refueling still. Sounds like there's cars going by. It looks maybe like that's most of the GTE field. Bad Payoso actually in the pits now. So I wonder if those soft tires weren't lasting as long as he would have hoped. And I tell you what, I am going to make a note of who has used the mediums so far. That is a shame to hear. Jam saying it's a nightmare for me. Let's see. Jam, Wolfbane. And let's see if there's anybody else who's used the mediums so far. Anybody on the mediums? We'll just double check. Is Hyde going into the pits this lap? He's not. So that little bit of fuel left you see in his tank, he's going to stretch that out another lap. Let's see, anybody else currently on the mediums? Pavsky is. And anybody else? Rob on drums, maybe? Nope, but Bad Payoso is. So that is another driver who is currently using or has used their medium. So the drivers so far who have done that are SNL Jam, SNL Wolfbane, DRP Pavsky, and Bad Payoso. Back up at the front, Matt Psycho has closed in approximately a second since we last were looking at that gap. We'll see, surely M. Hyde will pit at the end of this lap. Matt Psycho, threw me off for a second, Matt Psycho coming up to the end of the lap, M. Hyde all the way down on the Mulsanne straight. However, he does need to pit, Hyde does, so we will see how that pans out. I suspect Matt Psycho will get the track position. He was already ahead on track before pit stops, and the undercut has proved semi-powerful so far. So I would assume we could expect to see that again. Cool Dude Boy leads the way in GT. He does need to pit again, though, for fuel. I tell you what, Speed Hunter looking a lot worse on tires, but a lot better on fuel, as he slides his way through Arnage, I think showing the wear of his tires. And I'd say it'll be interesting to see how much he catches Cool Dude Boy with that fuel. One's got the advantage of fuel, the other's got the advantage of tires. About 17 seconds between them. They were the title protagonists of Season 6 of GTE, Season 7, I believe, returning pretty soon. Let's see if they can battle in Le Mans, though. And Tulu in third in class, as Wolfbane making a solid recovery. He's in fourth now, only 6 seconds off of Tulu. Blue flags. Let's look back. Can we see any LMP cars? We can. That looks like Jam right behind. So Jam makes the move, and he's through safely. So he's lapped Wolfbane once again. It's going to be lots of lapping going on for the GT cars. They are quite simply put slower cars than the LMPs by quite a margin. So it'll be interesting to see how many times they get lapped, actually. But for the LMP cars, we are about a quarter of the way through the race, 10 out of 40 laps done, and surely Hyde will be pitting this lap. He does. So the Porsche driver, say that as though all the LMP drivers aren't Porsche drivers, but the pole goes into the pits. Matt Psycho coming up to Indianapolis and Arnage now. 1 minute 8 seconds back. With the slow refuel times we've got today, I'd say it's likely he will end up overtaking him. Pat still running a very strong third. I think nobody will be disappointed to see Pat doing well. I think I worded that right. Point is, it's great to see him doing well. He's running a great race right now. It's a beautiful livery he's made for his car. And running in third, I think everybody should be... I don't think there's anybody who should be too disappointed in their afternoon so far. Maybe Jam, he's had a rough afternoon. Strategy hasn't really panned out so far, he's gotten stuck in traffic. And let's look. Matt Psycho coming through the final Ford chicane, starting lap 11 now. We ride on board, in the cockpit even, and he's through. So Hyde, how far back will he fall? Matt's fuel, he's got about 3/4 left. Hyde is fueled to a full tank. So it looks like Hyde is going to be pitting about every 10 laps or so. So we'll see how the strategy difference pans out between these two. It's a 14.5-second gap at the moment. But with one more pit stop, that will fall down quite significantly for Matt. We'll see if Matt can maybe stretch his stints out longer, try to take one less pit stop. Strategy is a big part of this race, however you look at it, though. Speckmare running in 4th in that Hertz Jota. Gold car. Beautiful car. He's going to run through Tertre Rouge here. Does he run wide? No, he keeps it nicely on the track, and he gives himself a nice run down the Mulsanne Straight. And would you look at that? It is sunset. The sun is setting here in Le Mans, as I think we've missed possibly a Cool Dude Boy pit stop? Yes, looks like we've missed a Cool Dude Boy pit stop, as he's now down in 10th overall, so that is 4th in class. Oh, that was Pavsky running a little bit wide, bouncing over the gravel. See where Intulu is in terms of fuel and on track. I would imagine he'll go another lap. It seems to me that Cool Dude Boy's car is a little bit worse on fuel compared to some of the others. Does Intulu pit? No, he stays out. As for Cinemod and Pavsky looks like he'll need to pit. Cinemod seems safe from a pit stop for now. I think he'll be okay, because he's actually set a personal best lap the last lap with a 4:03.872. Let's see if he's going to improve upon that this lap. Looks like he might. He does. Sets a 1:03.277. So Cinemod on the pace right now, as Pavsky pits. Cool Dude Boy, I mentioned his pit stop. I didn't bring up Speed Hunter's pit stop, though. Speed Hunter also has pitted recently. He hasn't refueled quite as much as Cool Dude Boy, though. The OnlyFans McLaren chasing down the... I can't even really tell what the main sponsor on that car is. It's Lego on the top, but that Mercedes. It's a beautiful car, though, must be said. So Pavsky in the pits, he's done on those mediums. They didn't wear very much, but he didn't have much fuel left. So we shall see. Anybody else on the mediums? Let's run through the grid quickly. Matt Psycho leads. He's about to lap Rob on drums again in that Leighton House Porsche. 15 seconds back to M. Hyde. Runs a little bit wide through that Dunlop chicane. He is alright, though. So Matt Psycho, 16 seconds ahead of M. Hyde. He's on the softs. M. Hyde as well on the softs. A further 16 or so seconds back is BRC Pat on the softs as well. Speckmare and Marson both on the softs, though Speckmare's softs worn quite a bit more. And Marson has about 1/4 of a tank more fuel remaining. Jam has already used his mediums for the race. He is allowed to use more, but he doesn't have to. Tulu on the softs, first in class. Cinemod second in class. Cool Dude Boy third in class. These three all on the softs, as is Speed Hunter. The net lead, though, in class would presumably be Cool Dude Boy, though. Cinemod and Intulu both needing to pit pretty soon. Cool Dude Boy and Speed Hunter both with over half, but less than 3/4 fuel left. So That is blue flags. I think that may have been Matt Psycho. It is in that Porsche. It's coming up on the back of, I've already forgotten who. Was it Speed Hunter? Comes up behind him in the slipstream, pulls out to the right, and he's through. No concerns about lapping down the Mulsanne straight. It is getting a little bit darker. It is sunset here at Le Circuit de la Sarthe. We will see now. Do we go deep into nighttime? There's a beautiful sounding car, Cinnamod's Audi. Arnage hits the apex. Nice exit. He's got 27 seconds back to Cool Dude Boy, but needs to pit, presumably this lap. Cool Dude Boy also lapped by Matt Psycho once again. These guys on in 10th, on lap 10, I should say. Matt Psycho on lap 12. Bit of oversteer from Matt Psycho. These LMP1 cars can get pretty squirrely. They've got a lot of horsepower in the back of them. That is Ntulu into the pits in his Porsche 911. Clatters the wall going in, but he makes it in alright nonetheless. By the time he comes out, it may very well be nighttime. It's getting darker here at Le Mans. And I don't think there's anybody that's going to be arguing with that. Le Mans by night is a beautiful thing, both in-game and I can now confirm from earlier this year in real life as well. This Cool Dude Boy runs a little bit wide out of the Porsche curves. Speed Hunter still chasing him down. Speed Hunter getting blue flags that looks like probably Hyde coming up behind them. It is. Cinnamod into the pits as well. I forget if I've already mentioned that. So M. Hyde trying to catch Matt Psycho. Might be a little bit held up through those four chicanes by Speed Hunter. Not much Speed Hunter could do there, though. And now our top two in class of GT3 are our top two, also our net top two, I guess. So, see Hyde, does he get through on Cool Dude Boy? All right. Here on what is lap 13 for the LMP car. Just going to be onto the entrance of the Mulsanne straight. Cool Dude Boy will surely pull into slipstream as soon as he can. He does. And with that, he'll take the advantage of slipstream briefly. I'd say he's probably already out of it, realistically. Was that Marson going slowly? Looks like it was. Goes through on SNL Wolfbane. Not quite sure what happened there. It looked like Marson is going a little bit slowly out of the Mulsanne, apologies, not Mulsanne, out of the Dunlop chicane. Speckmare in the pits. SNL Jam chasing the LMP group down. It's been a tough day for him without doubt, but he is still fighting through it. Cool Dude Boy, 5.8 seconds back to Speed Hunter. He's gained a little bit of time. Both of them, pretty similar fuel, just under half left, and incredibly similar tires as well. I just looked back at Rob on Drums. Still, point remains, and actually Rob on Drums kind of similar, but his rears are worn a little bit more. Rob on Drums, though, looks like his strategy is working out pretty well, given he is in third in class. I don't think he'll be arguing with that. He's in a pretty good situation here. And it looks like the LMPs are coming up to lap some more people. It is Pat going down the Mulsanne straight. Laps Speed Hunter. DRP Marson through on Rob on Drums. Speckmare entering the Mulsanne straight now. Runs a little bit wide. Gotta be careful with track limits there. And Jam is right behind him. 7.5 down to 7/10 back. Is this going to be an opportunity for Jam to make an overtake? He's been a little bit lonely throughout the race after that early pit stop to get off of the mediums. Speaking of, let's quickly run through the grid, see if anybody else is on mediums. None of the LMPs are. On the mediums, bad Payoso still. Nobody else currently feeling the need to use them, though. So back up to Specmare, though. We wait to see, will Jam be close enough to do anything into the second Malson chicane or into Malson the corner? It looks like he's actually losing time to Specmare. So I wonder if Jam is perhaps saving some fuel right now. I would say it's fair to say we're properly getting into nighttime. It will only get darker from here, and then eventually it'll lighten up. But the headlight's already proving useful for these drivers. Almost 20 seconds separates our top two in LMP, but in GT3, it is only 7 and a bit seconds between our top two. So Speed Hunter in that OnlyFans McLaren falling off the back of Cool Dude Boy a little bit. He's still not far off. One mistake from Cool Dude Boy would undoubtedly cause probably position loss for the Brit. Though Speed Hunter has a very solid gap back to Rob on drums, nearly half a minute. Rob on drums coming through turn 1 now. Speed Hunter going on to the Malson straight. That is Marson, it looks like, overtaking. Is that Marson, or is that... Yes, it is Marson. Lapping Speed Hunter. So, as we approach... Well, we've hit... We're over a third of the way through the race now, I believe. My math skills aren't amazing, though I could be wrong. I think we are, though. I'm pretty confident we are. Though, speaking of thirds, look at that last lap from DRP Marson. 3:33.3. That is an impressive lap time, if nothing else than just for the particular numbers. Excuse me. Apologies. It's nighttime at Le Mans, not here. Don't know why I'm yawning. But, driving towards the sunset at the moment for Matt Psycho. That is a stunning shot, must be said. Through the Porsche curves now. And what a view! That is exceptional. Gran Turismo 7 never ceases to amaze me sometimes. I said never and sometimes in the same sentence. Interesting. Nonetheless, Matt Psycho still pulling away from M. Hyde. Matt on worse tires, but also, in terms of strategy, far more importantly, less fuel. I'm looking at Pat right now. Less fuel. Pat also on much less fuel, though. Pat likely pitting this lap, I would think. He's been setting some decent laps the past couple laps, so 3:26.8 and a 3:27.7. So, his personal best not too long ago, and he is into the pits. Looking back at Marson, I think he's close enough that he'll definitely get the overtake on Pat here, but Marson will need to pit himself very soon. Specmare, it's hard to say, it's a really long pit stop. I don't think he'll get the position on Pat for now. But it is an exceptionally long pit stop, so it's difficult to say for certain. I'm gonna take a look at what might be the fastest lap in the GTE, or GT3 section. fairly happy with how things are going so far. As Cool Dude Boy pulls into the pits. Yeah, Pat saying he's fairly happy with how things are going so far. He's running an excellent race. We'll see how the rest of the race goes, but for now I think certainly the first section of the race is worth being proud of. So, we can't currently see... well, let's see. Cool Dude Boy's best lap is a 358.4. 359 for Speed Hunter. These two race contenders at the moment, race win contenders at the moment, are both in the pits, both refueling. Wolfbane's best lap's a 4:06. He's also in the pits. Bad Peoso's got a 4:01, 4:03 for Cinemod, and 4:01 for Pabsky. I missed Rob on drums, I believe. 4:06. Possibly a misread Wolfbane then. I'm not sure. Anyways, so it seems Cool Dude Boy... Oh, in Tulu. Can we see in Tulu's fastest lap? Not currently. Thanks, game. Please? This is ridiculous, man. It just keeps showing cars, but I can see that his fastest lap is there. I can also see that the game's glitched and said he's pitted every lap since lap 5, apparently. A 4:02.4 for Intulu, though, is his fastest lap. So at the moment, the fastest lap in the GT3 section would go to Cool Dude Boy. Not overly surprising, given his current lead. I say that, actually, Speed Hunter is right on the back of him. It's McLaren versus Mercedes. OnlyFans versus Lego, I guess? And through Tartre Rouge, it's going to be dirty air for Speed Hunter. That'll hurt through the corner, but down the straight now, he will have a massive advantage of slipstream. As I've just noticed, Rob on drums goes on to the medium, so I'll mark him down as well for drivers that have used mediums. There we go. Speaking of, neither of these drivers on mediums. Pavsky, is he? Nope. Let's just quickly run through the grid. So, Matt's still not on mediums. Neither is M. Hyde. Marson, no. Pat, no. Running in the dark through Mulsanne. That was an exceptional view with the lights lit up like that. Speed Hunter, Specmare, no. Jam has already used them, and Tulu is on softs. Cinemod's on softs. Pavsky on softs. These two on softs. See, is Speed Hunter gonna go for a move? It looks like he is. Round the outside of the chicane, it's hard to see in the dark. You can see just enough though, as Cool Dude Boy fends off the charging McLaren, maintains the net lead for now through the first Mulsanne chicane. Quickly running through the rest of the grid, Rob on drums on mediums. Bad Peoso has gotten onto the softs since we last spoke at him. Is Speed Hunter gonna go for something? Down the inside, round the outside, into Mulsanne. He's a little bit far back. I don't think he'll get the chance right now. Doesn't quite. What about into Indianapolis? We'll watch down this straight. We'll see DRP Marson in the pits. I thought I saw a yellow flag. I have. Who is it for? That is... oh dear, it's for Jam. It seems to be for Jam in his white and black Porsche. So... this car's fuel is trash. Shouldn't you be driving, Cool Dude Boy? Also, I'd noticed that. Yeah. So, certainly, fuel, evidently, is going to play a big part in the strategy. Cool Dude Boy struggling with his car's fuel. Thank you for the comment, Rob. Hello, Chris Boo. Ooh, was that Cool Dude Boy running a little bit wide, possibly, out of Arnage. Speed Hunter still not made the move. What a view here at night at the Circuit de la South in Le Mans, France. Let's see. It's an excellent, if ever you go, it's an excellent viewing place up on that hill there. I sat there quite a bit this year. It's an excellent viewing place. But I think the even better viewing place right now is probably inside Cool Dude Boy's car. As we manage our way through the end of the Porsche curves, and we can actually see DRP Pavsky right up there. You can see his rear headlights, his tail lights. Cool Dude Boy is catching him hand over fist. That explains why. He's gone into the pits. Is that Marson or Hyde going past? That was M. Hyde going past Wolfbane, I believe, quickly through the Porsche curves. Matt Psycho into the pits, so that's big. He's 24 seconds ahead of M. Hyde. M. Hyde has nearly half a tank of fuel left. It's looking good on tires as well. I would imagine he'll be pitting on lap 20. It seems M. Hyde pits every 10 laps, Matt perhaps every 8 laps. So we'll see how that goes from here. We go back to Cool Dude Boy and Speed Hunter, as they go into the darkness of the Mulsanne Strait. Speed Hunter, he's gonna look for the slipstream. Last time he fought Cool Dude Boy down the Mulsanne Strait, he tried to go for a move into the second chicane. Cool Dude Boy defended down the inside. Will Speed Hunter, first of all, will he be close enough to do something into the second chicane this time? He certainly wasn't into the first chicane. And if he is, will he force his way to the inside? Will he try his luck at the outside again? Welcome to the stream, D2CC. Hope you are enjoying this nighttime. And that is incredible. The stars that they show. That's incredible. GT7, take a bow. That is some incredible stars. However, the stars we're watching right now are the ones on track. Cool Dude Boy and Speed Hunter putting on a good show for us at the moment. Only a second separates the net leaders of the GT3 class. Matt Psycho has come out of the pits. He's just under a minute behind M. Hyde. Not sure how the pit stop situation is going to pan out. I think if I just quickly check. 40 divided by 8 is 5, so it looks like Matt will be going for 5 stints, while M. Hyde will be doing 4 stints, so 3 stops versus 4 stops. Matt is going to need to he's going to need to close that gap, because he's going to be taking an extra pit stop from the looks of it, and from the looks of it, that extra pit stop might just pay off greatly, or that one less pit stop might just pay off greatly for M. Hyde. Pat remains in 3rd place at the moment. He's quite a ways off of Matt Psycho, and he's got a solid gap back to Speckmare as well, who has a significant gap back to Marson. And unfortunately, the largest gap is SNL Jam to the rest of the LMP field. He's a minute and a half off Marson. So things really not going the way Jam might have been hoping. As we get this beautiful nighttime racing. Tulu through the 4 chicanes. Down, across the line. It begins lap 15. Cinnamon, Cool Dude Boy, Speed Hunter. Speed Hunter is using to fall off the back of Cool Dude Boy right here. Cool Dude Boy has a little bit less fuel than Speed Hunter, but a lot more tires. So what I think we're learning here is that Mercedes absolutely slurps up its fuel, but the McLaren eats through its tires. So it'll be interesting to see. We also have a blue flag. Let's watch as... Ooh, wow, that is brave from M. Hyde. Going around the outside of turn 1, around Speed Hunter. The OnlyFans McLaren staying out of the way nicely, as does that Mercedes. And is Matt closing in the gap very much? He seems to be a little bit. He'll have significantly better tires at the moment. And Speckmare looks like he's gaining on Pat a little bit. Speckmare, in our most recent SNL championship, was third in the championship in the end, behind myself and, if I can find him, Cool Dude Boy, who won that championship. Cool Dude Boy, though, racing with the number 86, I believe. Couldn't really see it there. He would have been allowed to race with the number 1, I would imagine, given he was the joint winner of our last SNL Le Mans endurance event. Let's see, SNL Wolfbane, he racing with the number 1, perhaps. Those two were the joint winners. And SNL Wolfbane, I don't know about the net position, but currently he's in 5th. I don't know the exact length of the pit stops, admittedly, but it's possible in Tulu and Cinemod would fall behind him after their pit stops. I believe our net leaders would be Cool Dude Boy and Speed Hunter. Perhaps the two of them both eat through their fuel a fair bit, though, because in Tulu and Cinemod, I believe have taken a pit stop less, and they both need to pit soon, but they've still got a pit stop less so far. As that was quite a good view of DRP Marson there for just a moment. Through the Forge Chicane, Speckmare is in the pit, so that will relieve the tension for VRC Pat for a moment. Pat, of course, has a little bit over half a tank of fuel remaining, so he is looking pretty solid at the moment. Speckmare refueling. It's an incredibly long pit stop here. Cancer Research UK on the side of the car. Always good to see people bringing awareness to that sort of stuff. As there was a yellow flag for a moment there. I couldn't tell what it was, because it ended just as we went to Jam, who is currently lapping Cool Dude Boy again. Well, I've just skipped past by accident. There we go. Cool Dude Boy. Less than a second off of Cinemod now. 1.3 seconds between Speed Hunter and Cinemod, Speed Hunter and Cool Dude Boy, though. So, it'll be interesting to see how that plays out. Cinemod needs to take a pit stop sooner than Cool Dude Boy, though with that Mercedes absolutely chewing up the fuel, he will need to pit soon enough himself. It must be said, Intulu is into the pits. Can we see an overtake here from Cool Dude Boy? He's gonna go down the inside, and he's through. As, not quite sure what happened there, but Cinemod is actually off track. That looked like it might have been a lag hit. It certainly didn't look like on my screen Cool Dude Boy hit him, but based on the tire screech, either Cinemod had a big snap of oversteer or had a slight lag hit. Can't really tell. If Cinemod feels he's hit, he has every right to report it after the race, but hard to say. Didn't really look like a hit, but hard to say for sure. Speed Hunter now, though, 1.2 seconds off of Cool Dude Boy. These top two, not much separates them. 359.4 and then another 359.4 last two laps for Speed Hunter. 359.3 and a 359.1 past a few laps for Cool Dude Boy. So, interesting to see that similarity in lap times, only a couple tenths difference between them over those past few laps. It's Matt Psycho 3 seconds closer to Amhide than when we last took a solid look at him. As Pat has a GT car right behind him, but he's got over half a minute in either direction. So Pat very much in no man's land for LMPs. But in the middle of everything for the GTEs as somebody comes out of the pits there. Would that be Cinnamon, perhaps? Was that into... No, hold on. That was Cinnamon, it looks like. Or perhaps Pavsky. No, I think it would have been Cinnamon. So Cinnamon coming out of the pits in 13th. I believe that means our top 3 in GTE, or GT3 at the moment, I should say, are Cool Dude Boy, MFT Speed Hunter, and SNL Wolfbane. Wolfbane, though, only 8/10 ahead of the Porsche of Intulu, that Porsche 911. Red and black, all you can see right now is the yellow headlights, though. Will he be able to make a move down the Mulsanne straight between the two Mulsanne chicanes? He's 8/10 off. He's losing time a little bit, so perhaps that Lamborghini is just a bit faster down the straights. Back up to that front two. Almost a second and a half between them now. Back up to the LMPs. M. Hyde, 52 seconds out in the lead. That is a solid gap. He'll probably be pitting at the end of the next lap, though, I would think. His strategy so far has been pit every 10 laps. I believe he's fuel saving, but he's certainly making it work very well. And sets a 3:26.1 on the last lap. I'd be interested to see what Matt sets, but I have to wait nearly a minute to see. So, excuse me. Let's look at some others in the meantime. Speed Hunter closing in a few tenths down the straights. Wonder if that was just the effect of the slipstream. He's 7/10 up on his best lap so far, though. Missed the split for Cool Dude Boy. Ooh, this could be interesting. Cool Dude Boy needs to pit this lap. There's zero chance he gets another lap out of that fuel. He's barely going to make it through this lap. Speed Hunter, though, also pits. Okay. I thought he might, but he definitely has a bit more fuel left. 11% compared to Cool Dude Boy's 0%. That Mercedes that just chomps through its fuel as it does, that might be Cool Dude Boy's downfall here, as Speed Hunter will have to refuel less. So it is very possible we'll see Speed Hunter coming out of the pits ahead of Cool Dude Boy. Comparison between the top two's lap times. As Matt went about 7/10 faster on the last lap. So it's a solid lap from him. He is truly in no man's land at the moment, though. Nobody around him. Pat in third. He's got a minute ahead, half a minute back. Marcin running through the traffic. I believe he just went past Cinnamon there. 40 seconds behind him is Speckmare. And in sixth is SNL Jam. 57 seconds back. So that's your LMP1 class at the moment. Intulu takes the lead of GT3. He has 3/4 of a tank of fuel left. Let's see these two. Where do they come out in comparison to each other? That is Speed Hunter out of the pits, and he has jumped Cool Dude Boy. Cool Dude Boy comes out of the pits behind Rob on drums. So Rob on drums about 2.5 seconds behind Speed Hunter. Cool Dude Boy a further 1.5 off, so what's that, about 4 seconds separating Cool Dude Boy and Speed Hunter. However, it's also important to note, Intulu, 19 seconds out in front of those two. So Intulu running a very strong race at the moment. Difficult to say exactly how it'll go based on strategy. And I'd say we can expect M. Hyde in at the end of this lap if he does the same as he did on his first stint. So does he hit this lap? He's looking... Oh, he has to, surely. Just saw his fuel. Yep, looks like he's just hit 0 there. And he's into the pits on 0% fuel. Matt Psycho will take the lead during this pit stop. His next pit stop, though, presumably will be about 4 laps from now, I think. Pat running a race of his own. He's in third at the moment, going through Mulsanne now. A little bit of oversteer there. Makes it through the corner all right, though, and got quite the train of cars here. So Speed Hunter has... Oh, Speed Hunter's not on the track. He's been reset. So that's Cool Dude Boy back through into the probably net lead of the GT3 class. But Speed Hunter made a mistake in that second Mulsanne chicane. And now, Cool Dude Boy leads the way again, 1.8 seconds up on the American. So that drama at night in Le Mans. I'll tell you what I'm noticing. I can't say for sure, but I think there's... Oh, that was a mistake from Cool Dude Boy, even. So, that was just mistakes all around in this GT3 class at the moment. Rob on Drums overtakes Cool Dude Boy. Cool Dude Boy falls behind the American in his Porsche. TRP Pavsky through as well. Is he going to go down the inside of Rob on Drums? There's 3 of them right here. How is this going to pan out? Round the outside for Pavsky. Can he make the move into Indianapolis? He doesn't quite. So Cool Dude Boy maintains that position, but he still needs to re-overtake Rob on Drums. Ooh, is that down the inside again? He can't make the move work. Pavsky can't. But Cool Dude Boy, is he going to get the exit necessary to overtake Rob on Drums into the Porsche curves? Brilliant battling all of a sudden. He was going to go down the inside, not much space there, just enough though. Down the inside of the Porsche curves, and he is through. So that is Cool Dude Boy. Now with Speed Hunter, the only man... Well, Speed Hunter and Intulu, the only ones in front of him again. Intulu, I think, should be very happy at the moment with what's going on behind him. Mistakes made by the main 2 people that he's fighting for the win with. I don't know how strategy is going to work out between the 3 of those drivers, but regardless, it's certainly every time that Speed Hunter or Cool Dude Boy loses time, Intulu gains it. So I don't think he'll be arguing with what's going on between that McLaren and Mercedes. That is an LMP making some overtakes. Is that... It is M... It was... Who is that? Was that Jam? No, it was Specman. Okay, I did not see the gold of his car. That is bright. We're not gonna stare into his headlights. So he goes down the inside on the Mercedes, a Cool Dude Boy, just lapping him, as he has done quite a few times throughout this race. Specmare on lap 21, Intulu on lap 18, so that's the difference between the LMPs and the GTs. SNL Jam just about to get on to lap 21, still currently on lap 20 though. As we look back to see the gap between Cool Dude Boy and Speed Hunter. Dude Boy coming up to the first chicane, Speed Hunter entering it now. It's not a huge gap on track, it's 2.6 seconds, numerically speaking, though. As Wolfbane is down in 12th overall, that should be, what, 6th in the class? And let's just quickly run through the grid to see any more people who may be on soft. Sorry, I was taking mediums at the moment. I think I've already marked down Rob on Drums. I have. None of the other GT cars. And none of the LMPs at the moment none of the LMPs at the moment either. So, still only Jam, Wolfbane, Pavsky, Bad Payoso and Rob on drums have used their mediums. The mediums, of course, being a mandatory tire for this race. What's that? Jam just lapping an L&P, or sorry, a GT car. I think that was Wolfbane. And Pat is into the pits. So Pat in the pits. Marcin will need to pit in a couple laps time, I would think. But for the time being, will overtake Pat. I don't think Specmere quite will, though. Specmere closer to a minute off of Pat before the pit stop. I could be mistaken about that, though. That is in two loop being lapped. Impossible to see who by, though. I think it was Specmere. So, Specmere finishes lapping the GT field once again, and now he will be pushing on his way to see if he can catch up to Pat before he leaves the pits. That was a nice Ferris wheel. Caught my attention. Let's see, Pat. Ooh, it looks like Specmere is probably going to overtake him. Pat, 93, 95, 97, 99, and he's out of the pits. So Specmere just overtakes Pat. Specmere much closer to his next pit stop than Pat, though. It's always difficult to tell exactly how strategies will pan out in endurance races. 40 laps of this track. And we are in the dead of night. Matt Psycho apparently leads the way in that Leighton House Porsche. Let's see what he can see. Through the Porsche curves, right, 6th gear, left, still accelerating, up a gear even, left again. Hit the right-hander, careful not to touch the grass, use some curve if you can. Through the left-hander, try not to run wide. And up towards the Ford chicanes now. Matt managing this lap very nicely indeed. Through the first Ford chicane, hits both apexes. Through the second Ford chicane, hits both apexes. And Matt completes another lap of the race. Hyde in second. These two have quite different strategies. We'll see how it goes between them. Certainly, Matt looks like he'll be taking one less pit stop. We'll see where he comes out in comparison to Hyde after his next pit stop. Jam, don't worry. Your retirement plan is completely safe. Thank you for the compliments on the commentary, though. Much appreciated. It's a bit difficult at the moment. I admit I'm feeling a little bit ill at the moment. Okay. I think that was just lag. There might have been a bit of oversteer there for Matt. Given he's still 10th and a half purple, I think it was just lag. But that scared me for a moment. I thought Matt was about to spin. All his efforts undone. We'll see how Hyde does in comparison to Matt, as I've said a couple times now. 35 seconds between the duo. We'll see if Matt loses some time through this chicane. That could tell us. No, it was definitely just lag. Matt gained time through the chicane. So, thank you, game, for lag. As that is Specmere and Pat battling, it looked like Pat just made an overtake. I could be mistaken, though. Ooh, as Specmere flatters the wall with that fresh, dirty air. That's an oxymoron. With that dirty air, Pat, though, does take the position. And looking back, looks safe from Speckmare for the moment. Speckmare, oh, he's definitely going to be safe after that. Speckmare drops quite a bit of time as he just touches the gravel on the exit of the second Ford chicane. So Intulu, looks like Speed Hunter's been gaining on Intulu, and Cool Dude Boy slowly on Speed Hunter. Cool Dude Boy's up to 1.6 seconds back, and 9/10 green at the moment. We'll see how these two do. As I thought for a moment Cool Dude Boy was going into the pits. I was very confused for a second. But for the time being, well, he's gained some time. He's only second off. He just touches the gravel out of the Ford chicane though. That is a 357.384 from Cool Dude Boy. What a lap. Speed Hunter also sets a personal best lap time, a 358.7. So he loses still a second and almost a second and a half throughout that lap. So it's time to see, will that OnlyFans McLaren withstand the challenge of Cool Dude Boy's Mercedes? Down the Mulsanne straight, it's going to be slipstream for Cool Dude Boy. Coming up to the first chicane, is he going to want to make a move into there? We'll see. Will he even have the gap? He has the slipstream. Is he going to be able to do anything with it? Speed Hunter moving around a little bit, not too much though. Definitely keeping it within legality. Cool Dude Boy doesn't look like he's going to be able to make a move down into the first chicane. How about the second Mulsanne chicane? There is an LMP coming up behind them. We'll quickly check who that is, as Jam seems to have a bit of an issue through the Ford chicanes. We've seen several drivers having that problem just recently. As it is Matt coming up behind Cool Dude Boy and Speed Hunter. We'll see his view of this. It's going to be a little bit awkward here. He makes it past Cool Dude Boy before the corner. Is he through safely? He is. Cool Dude Boy. Both of them look like they're trying to compensate for each other with their lines. And Matt is through on Speed Hunter as well. Has Cool Dude Boy lost significant time from that? Not too much. A little bit of time lost, definitely, though, through that second chicane. So Speed Hunter saved for a little bit longer. Both of these two, though, catching Intulu rather quickly. Intulu not breaking below the 4-minute mark since before we could last see. We can't actually see a time when he's gone below the 4-minute mark. So I think that just goes to show how exceptionally quick these two here are, with a 357 and a 358 from Cool Dude Boy and Speed Hunter, respectively. Cinemod running in 4th in class. Wolfbane 45 seconds off of him. A little bit of oversteer in that Huracan. Is it a Huracan? I feel like it's not even a Huracan. It's a Lamborghini, though, I promise you that. Oh, wait, hold on, it might say if I go to him. No? That is a Huracan. Cool. Excellent, I have that right. As these two will probably need to pit now. Speed Hunter's McLaren doesn't eat through its fuel quite as quickly as the Mercedes, but it definitely still does go through it pretty quickly. And tell you what, these guys are all pitting the same lap, this top three. I think that without doubt confirms that Intulu is not just the net lead, but the true GT leader at the moment. He bonks the wall going into the pits. Speed Hunter doesn't. Does Cool Dude Boy? Nope. Cool Dude Boy on 0% fuel, though. That is incredible. As Speckmare comes out of the pits, Matt Psycho also in the pits at the moment. So Matt, 37 seconds to M. Hyde. M. Hyde going through the 4 chicanes now. He's gonna take the lead for now. We'll see, he'll probably be pitting in about 5 laps time. So we'll see at that point what the gap ends up being between Matt and M. Hyde. I suspect Matt has 2 pit stops left. While M. Hyde probably only has 1. So we will watch with great interest what happens there. These guys, who's going to be out first? It looks like it's going to be Speed Hunter out first. Did he not replace his tires? He didn't. So Speed Hunter trying to get ahead of Intulu here. And does it work? Well, that was Matt Psycho getting going. Speed Hunter. Nope, Intulu's out first. Intulu did not fuel to a full tank of fuel. So that is absolutely intriguing. As, oh, that's a shame. Wolfbane leaves the room. Not sure what happened there. Possibly internet, not sure. Unfortunate to see either way, though. Focusing back on this front group, Cool Dude Boy down to 12 seconds back on Speed Hunter. So this seems to all be slipping away from the Brit and going the way of the American and the Portuguese. So Intulu, just over 4 seconds in front of Speed Hunter. Speed Hunter has had some better pace recently, but we know his car eats through the tires and fuel, possibly worse than Intulu's. That being said, Intulu has fueled quite a bit less. Cool Dude Boy saying this car is slower on straights and still burns more fuel on top of trying to spin through any slow corner. I think I made a bad choice here. Seems a possibility you have, unfortunately. Be interested to know how you would manage in comparison to the others if you were in a Porsche or a McLaren. But unfortunately, at the end of the day, you picked the Mercedes, and you're managing very well with it, though. So we'll see, can he hold on to a podium? DRP Pavsky not too far behind. He looks like he needs to pit very soon, though. So Speed Hunter chasing down Intulu. We focused on the LMPs a lot throughout the early stage of this race. Focusing a lot on the GTs now. Looking at the LMPs, though, there's nobody within half a minute of each other. Oh, there is. Speckmare is just within half a minute of Marson. I think the point stands, though. LMP, the battle is very much a strategy battle, whilst at the moment, it looks like an on-track battle for GT. So Intulu being chased down by Speed Hunter. Speed Hunter in that OnlyFans McLaren. I don't know if this Porsche has a title sponsor. I think I'd best waiting until daylight to try and find that out. Nonetheless, the two cars both look absolutely beautiful. And through the right-hander, a bit of a slide from Intulu it looked like. It's hard to tell at night, but it did look like a bit of a slide. So less than a second separates the front two in GT. Cool Dude Boy 11 seconds off. That's the strategy not working out for Cool Dude Boy with a car that eats through its fuel and, according to him, tries to spin on any slow corner. As Speed Hunter right on the back of Intulu, let's go on board, see can he make a move. Taking it easy, the dirty air is difficult to deal with, but he makes the move, and he's through on Intulu. What a move. They're still side by side, though, as he just pulls in front. Intulu will now look. I wonder if he'll be thinking about the slipstream. He's going to have to hold it together through the 4 chicanes, at least if he's going to even have a thought about the slipstream. He actually runs a better line through there than Speed Hunter. Is he going to have a chance into turn 1 or that first chicane? And Tulu losing a little bit of time on the straight. I think that McLaren is very powerful in a straight line. And that is... Actually, I've just noticed Cool Dude Boy gaining a couple seconds on Ntulu and Speed Hunter. So Cool Dude Boy, he's at a little bit of a disadvantage with the car, but do not count him out of this. His pace is exceptionally good. So Speed Hunter pulling away pretty significantly from Ntulu. He's got almost a second and a half back now. So it's going to be difficult for Ntulu to maintain a challenge on Speed Hunter. However, we have seen Speed Hunter throughout this race make 1 or 2 mistakes. Some very costly ones. So do not count Ntulu out. Pavsky in the pits. Let's quickly look to see, is there anybody else on mediums as it stands? A reminder to all drivers that mediums are mandatory for at least 1 stint throughout this race. Drivers who have successfully already completed their medium stints consist of SNL Jam, Wolfbane, Pavsky, Bad Payoso, and Rob on drums. I tell you what, there are some beautiful sounding cars on the grid and a beautiful night sky up there. Why don't we go to... tell you what, let's go to Speed Hunter. Ride on board with him. Give you the full experience from his offset cam. And let's just listen to him for a few corners on the straight. As we're getting some blue flags, let's see which of the LMPs is catching up to him. It seems to be Pat. We've seen Pat make some pretty impressive overtakes, or I should say lapping maneuvers through the Porsche curves. This one involved Speed Hunter getting out of the way a bit more, but good patience from Pat. And I tell you what, Pat, with a 47-second gap back to Marson, and a minute 14 up to Matt Psycho, Pat looks pretty comfortable in this 3rd position. Speaking of gaps involving Matt Psycho, though, Matt, 41 seconds off of M-Hyde now. I think it's fair to say that that is the net gap between them. I don't know how to word the logic I used to figure that out, but I think that's the case. Matt seems to be... He's setting faster lap time, so that may be because M-Hyde is saving fuel. But Matt seems to be the faster driver at the moment, but the strategy simply is not turning out his way, I don't think. He needs to pit 2 more times. one of which will be on lap 32, I suspect. And M. Hyde only needs to pit... Wait, hold on. They both only need to pit one more time. I think. Don't trust my math skills. I think they both only need to pit one more time, actually. So I would say this is the legitimate gap. Matt has been faster throughout, but we'll see if he can gain 41 seconds in what is now about 13 remaining laps. So it's going to be a tough ask for Matt to gain all that time on M. Hyde, but we'll see how it goes for the Brit. If it doesn't work, it'll be a win on debut for M. Hyde. Be good to see the pole. I believe driving I don't know why I'm trying to look at his car in the dark. I can't see anything. I think it's a very nice red and white car, though. It's, hold on. Yeah, nice red and white car there. Got 40 seconds back to Matt Psycho. Closest gap in the LMP field is 25 seconds between Speckmare and Marson. But all of these drivers on some pretty varying strategies. As Speckmare laps Rob on drums one more time, as that is Cinnamod in the gravel out of Malson. So an unfortunate mistake there for him. That shouldn't cost him too much though. Rob on drums is closer, but not. He's not about to make a move or anything. I apologize, I don't understand the language that is in Jonathan. Hello, Jonathan. Good to see you at a stream again. I haven't seen you racing in a while. Love to see you racing again sometime soon. Good to see you on the stream, though. So Speed Hunter now, though, leads the GT category in that OnlyFans McLaren by 5.96 seconds. 6 seconds. It'll be good to see you racing again, Jonathan. Second between Intulu and Cool Dude Boy, though, so that is probably the closest gap on track at the moment. Just take a look through the rest quickly. Seems to be. Ooh, that is Rob on drums running a bit wide, as that was possibly Matt Psycho overtaking, or I should say lapping him. As we ride on board with Cool Dude Boy, let's see what he can do down the Mulsanne straight to try and overtake Intulu. He's running a bit lower on fuel. Tires are pretty similar though. And they're both about to be lapped by that is Marson. So, good to see Marson making it through alright. Intulu and Cool Dude Boy both trying to take advantage of the slipstream. This will not be helping Cool Dude Boy's case, as it means Intulu also has slipstream to help him pull away. Cool Dude Boy looks like he brakes a little bit later into the first chicane. Let's see what he can do going towards the second Mulsanne chicane. He's 3.5 tenths back. He's going to try and make a move surely here. Under 3 tenths, 2.5. He's closing up. Where does he go? Left to right? He goes left to the inside. You can see the hot brakes. He's not having to stamp on them yet, but they're coming up to the corner. Who will hit the brakes first? can really tell, but Cool Dude Boy is through regardless. On the inside, big snap of oversteer for Ntulu. Wonder if he's just getting that wash of dirty air. While Cool Dude Boy now claims some fresh air. He's only 5 seconds off of Speed Hunter. He's being disadvantaged seemingly by the fuel consumption of his car. We'll see what he can do about Speed Hunter up ahead though. Through the Porsche curves goes VRC Pat. What a view that was, I must say. Pat looks like he's about to pit, as we can actually see the sun starting to rise. So that could be quite a beautiful view on certain parts of the track. It looks like there is a driver currently in the pits, possibly? Yes, it's Jam. I don't know how I had already forgotten about that. As Pat goes into the pits as well. And yeah, without doubt, you can see the sun is starting to rise. You can see the golden sky just off in the distance. You can see it getting a little bit lighter off to the right, and in the direction of the Mulsanne Strait. And what a view of it here from Marcin's onboard camera. Through the Porsche curves, absolutely flat out until the last one. Nonetheless, that was some proper bravery on the throttle from DRP Marcin. Let's see. Pat is starting to refuel now. Marcin hasn't pitted this lap. It's hard to say how strategy will go for him and Pat, or Spec Mayor for that matter. I've mainly been keeping track of the strategy of Matt and M-Hyde, who I'd imagine M-Hyde is about to take his final pit stop at the end of the next lap, I want to say. It might be at the end of this lap even. We'll watch to find out. Will he go on to the softs again and make one last late pit stop for mediums, or will he go onto the mediums here? He has to use the mediums, and I've just seen Pat go onto the mediums, so I'll add him to my tally of drivers using the mediums. Pat, that makes 6 drivers, and I will run through the grid quickly to see if there's anybody else. So Pat, Spec Mayor, is he going to put on the mediums? Nope, he puts on softs. Softs for Jam. He's already used them though. Speed Hunter, softs. Softs for Cool Dude Boy. Softs for Ntulu. Softs for Cinemod. Softs for Rob, Peyoso, and Pavsky. Okay, so drivers who still need to use the mediums are M-Hyde, Matt Psycho, DRP Marcin, Spec Mayor, Cinemod, Speed Hunter, Cool Dude Boy, Ntulu, Rob on Drum, nope, sorry, that's my mistake, Rob on Drums has used the mediums. And yeah, that's it. So just Cool Dude Boy, Ntulu, Speed Hunter, Cinemod, Spec Mayor, Marcin, Matt, and Hyde. So still a good chunk of drivers who still need to use the mediums. And before M-Hyde's final pit stop, which should be at the end of this lap, we have approximately a 34-second gap between himself and Matt. Matt is 2/10 purple coming out of the first Mulsanne chicane. Marcin, 2 minutes off of the Leighton House Porsche. Ooh, that was a big snap of oversteer. We'll watch to see if Matt Psycho gains much time through Mulsanne. He's doing the second chicane currently. He'll go down the straight and we'll see though. 3.5 tenths purple now. Matt is pushing like crazy. Down into Mulsanne. How much time is he going to gain from that snap of oversteer that M. Hyde had? Good few tenths. Every tenth may be incredibly valuable. We are yet to see. These two could finish incredibly close together. They could finish half a minute apart. We are really yet to see. It'll be great fun seeing how the strategy pans out in the end. They each have one pit stop left, by my reckoning. And this should be the lap that M. Hyde takes his final pit stop. Unless he decides he wants to go on softs for the next few laps, and then a couple laps on the mediums right at the end of the race. If he fails to use the mediums, he will not. I believe that would mean he would get disqualified, as there's a yellow flag. See if I can see who it's for. I'm not finding anyone. Let's see. M. Hyde waiting to go into the pits. It's Matt Psycho's turn to go through the push curves. Coming up to the 4 chicanes next. 32 seconds is the gap at the time that M. Hyde goes into the pits. 32 seconds will be difficult to gain in 10 laps, though. It's looking good for M. Hyde. By no means guaranteed. He's switching his tires. He puts on softs. So M. Hyde puts on softs. He's gonna need to pit again for mediums. That is certainly an interesting strategy. So M. Hyde still needs to do one more pit stop. If Matt puts on the mediums, he also only needs one more pit stop. We'll see how this goes. It looks like Matt might be saving fuel this stint. Maybe going a lap or two extra to shorten the medium stint that he has to do. He set the fastest lap of the race last lap, so on second thought, maybe he isn't fuel saving. Marcin going through Malson as M. Hyde is about to exit the pits. Oh, he does go onto the mediums. Okay, thank you, game. Very helpful. I apologize for that. It said soft. He's on mediums. M. Hyde has done as he is required. So, Matt will need to pit onto mediums as well. Let's just run through the grid quickly. See who's on mediums, who isn't. Cool. So, we now just wait on Matt, Marcin, Speckmare. Marcin, right? Yeah, Marcin, Speckmare. Oh, Speckmare making a mistake, actually. Speed Hunter, cool, Intulu, Cool Dude Boy, and we'll see about Cinnamon potentially needing to pit. Since it decided that... Figure I should wait to make that judgment on Cinnamon, given it initially told me Hyde was on softs, then it came out on mediums. He is on mediums. Okay, so Cinnamon... Cinnamon is on the mediums. So that only leaves a few left. It's that top 3 in the GT section. Cool Dude Boy, and Tulu, and Speed Hunter all needing to use the mediums at some point. And then Speckmare, Marcin, and Matt needing to use the mediums themselves. Be interesting to see how the last 10 or so laps of this race pan out. Strategy was always going to be a big factor in this race. But this is... strategy is a massive factor here. Looks like Matt is going purple by quite a bit. We'll see. I don't think he'll pull into the pits this lap. Could be mistaken though. He doesn't. Okay. Stays out, and is he going to set the fastest lap of the race again? Let's watch. He does a 22.2. Sorry, 22.3. My mistake. That is a very impressive lap. We have not seen M. Hyde in the 22s or the 23s. We've not seen M. Hyde setting anything better than a 3:26.1 on lap 27. Okay, actually, a 3:26.126 on lap 29. But still, that is quite a distance off of Matt Psycho's time. Matt is absolutely flying at the moment. He'll still need to make one more pit stop. M. Hyde should be flat to the end of the race from here, though. Speckmere will also need to pit for mediums, as will Marson. Speed Hunter, Cool Dude Boy, and Tulu all need to pit. And Tulu right on the back of Cool Dude Boy. So it'll be interesting to see how that goes. I would imagine this trio all needs to pit at least one more time. Speed Hunter looking a lot more comfortable out front in that OnlyFans car now, though. Just 5.9. He's got a solid gap back to Cool Dude Boy. It's not, you know, it's not the kind of gap that allows him to go flying and flipping off into the wall down the Mulsanne straight and still maintain his lead, but it is a gap that means he can afford to not push too hard. As Marson laps Cinnamod again. Pat, it's hard to say, I don't think Pat has taken his final pit stop. I think he needs to pit one more time. So as strategy would have it, I think Marson is properly into third now, though he does need to pit this lap, I would think. So we'll see how that goes. He is into the pits in his Devil Rider's livery. Intriguing. I zoned out. I don't know. Let's see. Pat. Marson isn't even at his pit box yet, so Pat will take third for a bit. There's no way Pat can make about a third of its tank of fuel go the entire remaining 8 laps, as Speed Hunter has left the room, lagged out I would assume. I can't see him just deciding the OnlyFans McLaren is done for the day with this little race left. I'm not sure exactly what's happened for sure, as Matt takes what is presumably his final pit stop, but that puts Cool Dude Boy in the provisional lead of GT, as Speed Hunter presumably lags out of the race. That is an utterly disappointing turn of events for the McLaren driver. That OnlyFans McLaren was flying very well. 6, 6, you know, or possibly closer to 5 seconds ahead of Cool Dude Boy last we saw. But not anymore. Now he's nowhere to be seen. That is really a shame. But what it does mean is that Cool Dude Boy... Oh, it's Matt. Huh. I did not know DTCC was Matt. Good thing you're pitting right now. More Q laps coming up. I would hope so. If you're still going for the win. Hey, Matt. Yeah. That Leighton House livery is beautiful, by the way. Got disconnected, what a shame. Yeah. It's so unfortunate to hear, Speed Hunter. You're running really well. Yeah, that really sucks. As Matt does go on to the mediums, as required. I'll mark that down. And I'll quickly run through the grid, see who else is, or who else needs to use mediums. Marson is on mediums. Missed that. So all of the LMP cars... Oh, no, actually, I tell you what. Specmere still needs to use mediums. So Specmere is the one remaining LMP car that needs to put on the mediums. Cool Dude Boy and Tulu both need to use the mediums. Cinemod, Rob on drums, Bad Payoso, and Pavsky have all used mediums as required, though. So it's just those three now. Cool Dude Boy and Tulu and Specmare. As we race into the morning, track is getting lighter. Headlights a little bit less necessary. Still useful, though. Let's look at the gap. It's 23 seconds between Matt and M. Hyde. He's got 7 or so laps to gain that time. Matt is going to be pushing absolutely crazy right now. So it'll be very interesting to see what he can do to dent M. Hyde's gap. M. Hyde, taking a little bit of slipstream off of DRP Pavsky's Porsche. Very nice livery he's got there. Red and the black go very well together on that Porsche. Bad Payoso, I think possibly one of the liveries of the day. That Fanta Racing livery just looks brilliant on the Porsche as he lets Marson through. Marson currently running in 4th both in class and overall. Let's take a quick look inside the car. I did not mean to look backwards there. Let's see. Got lots of little switches there. Nice steering wheel. Look at the mirrors. More importantly, though, can look at the track ahead, and it's all clear, and I don't see a single cloud. So I think the drivers who were hoping to wait right to the end to use mediums in case it rained, because as soon as there is any rain marked on that meter, that rain meter on the left-hand side of the screen, on the bottom left, as soon as there's any rain there, mediums are no longer mandatory. So drivers, certain of them will have been hoping to wait it out right to the end in the hopes that they don't need to use mediums. But at the end of the day, it looks like Intulu, Cool Dude Boy, and Specmare will end up using the mediums. Looks like Matt might have made a slight mistake. He's dropped a couple seconds to M. Hyde. The pole, not losing his cool or anything, just driving along. Matt pushing really hard, though. I think Matt wants this win quite badly, as Jam is into the pits for what is presumably the final time. So, here we are. Specmare still needing to pit, not too far off of Marson. Marson approximately a minute off of Pat, and Pat will need to pit within the next couple laps. We'll see if Pat can maybe maintain a small enough gap behind Marson when he comes out of the pits, and then I would imagine Pat will actually do his last stint on the softs, which will give him an excellent opportunity to try and patch and pass Marson if he does come out of the pits behind him. So it's worth watching Pat and where he comes out in comparison to the pole. As Cool Dude Boy into the pits, 0% fuel. That car forces him to live on the edge for fuel. And Tulu stays out another lap. So in Tulu, that's very interesting to see. It's hard to judge exactly how many laps this race will be for the GT cars with being lapped and all that. I really can't say exactly how far they'll make it, but it'll be very interesting to see how strategy turns out for these two, as surely this is a stint where Cool Dude Boy puts on the mediums. We'll check once he's out of the pits. That is Jam lapping in Tulu. And Tulu in first place in the GT section, in the GT category. And who knows, he may come out in first. He might be in net first as well. Cool Dude Boy's car does not like fuel. It tries to get rid of it as quickly as it can. As Pat, yep, he's in the pits. Pat's saying in the chat, this might be close. I suspect it will be. Look at Marson go by there. And Pat won't be too long before he comes out of the pits. Presumably be on softs, as we hear Cool Dude Boy leaving the pits. But Pat comes out on the soft compound tire, 12 or so seconds off of Marson. Here comes Speckmere though. Speckmere definitely still needing to pick. He hasn't run the mediums yet. Thingy-Majig's Racing Channel saying, come on Pat, want to see you. Ooh, as that is Speckmere struggling to get past Cool Dude Boy. We'll take a look at Cool Dude Boy. He's put on the softs, so he still hasn't run his mediums yet, so I would say that implies he'll be using the mediums once again, unless he sees something on the rain radar that nobody else has. In Tulu, though, he needs to pit next. Jam running a pretty lonely race at the moment, unfortunately. Speckmere dropping off of Pat a little bit. Pat, I think, really interesting. The two battles to watch right now are Pat trying to close in those 12 or so seconds on Marson, and Matt trying to close those 19 seconds on M-Hyde. Matt is looking like a tall order for him. He's gaining for sure, but he might not be gaining fast enough. It might take some mistakes from M-Hyde for him to make that overtake. So, back to the GT category though. Let's watch in Tulu. Drew Arnage manages the corner nicely. He'll surely be into the pits at the end of this lap. He set a new personal best lap on the last lap of 4:02.4. Cool Dude Boy, no personal bests recently. We know it's in the 357s though. As Marson that was not Marson. M-Hyde coming up on the back of Cool Dude Boy. Marson, red and white on one side, red and black on the other. It's quite a cool livery, actually. Matt Psycho, though, 18 seconds off now. He's still gaining. Will he gain fast enough, though? It's hard to say. Pat is certainly gaining on Marson. He's pulled the gap down to about 10 seconds. This could throw a spanner in the works, though. Speckmere wants to go for a move into the Porsche curves. Pat manages to defend the position for now. Tiny bit of rubbing there. A little bit more contact. Speckmere doesn't quite make a move. He wanted to go down the inside, but he backs out in the end. Thinks better of it. You can see the sun through the trees there, and Tulu is in the pits. Cool Dude Boy is coming up to the Porsche curves. We'll see where he comes out in comparison to Tulu. Or more to the point where Tulu comes out in comparison to him. So Pat maintains position above Speckmere. Speckmere puts it in the pits. Surely Speckmere needs to go onto the mediums now. There's no other choice. Pat is catching on Marson. This could be a close finish between those two. As Matt and M-Hyde. M-Hyde has half a tank left of fuel with about 5 laps remaining, keeping in mind that he does more or less 10 lap stints. So he is right on target for fuel, I would say. Matt Psycho pushing a little bit harder. I suspect M. Hyde has been saving fuel throughout the race, and Tulu comes out of the pits on mediums. So in Tulu, presumably that is his final pit stop. We'll see what Cool Dude Boy does, though. I'll mark down in Tulu, going on to the mediums. There is Matt. He won't like Cool Dude Boy being in his way. It's Matt's responsibility to pass him, which he does pretty smoothly. Speckmare still in the pits. We'll see if he comes out on mediums. Presumably he will. That's not how you spell Tulu. Here we go. We got in Tulu as Matt laps in Tulu again. So in Tulu, on lap 30, Matt on lap 36. So quite a difference between them. Cool Dude Boy, Speckmare does come out on the mediums, and Cool Dude Boy is the only one that remains not having used the mediums left. Yet. So Cool Dude Boy, unless I missed anything, is the only driver that absolutely must make another pit stop. It is possible I've missed something. There's a lot of drivers to keep track of, and a lot of strategy to keep track of. Back up to the front though. The gap is down to 17 seconds between the top two. Third and fourth, it's down to about 8 seconds. Let's watch how Pat manages the next few corners, why don't we? Braking for Indianapolis, manages well. Good throttle control on the exit through our notch. Just about hits the apex, certainly hits the exit, and he's on his way down to the Porsche curves. It's down to 7 seconds between third and fourth. This fight for the last podium position is definitely on. We look further down the grid though, in Tulu, half a second in front of Cool Dude Boy. Cool Dude Boy still needs to make another pit stop, though, which would likely drop him behind. Well, Rob on Drums needs to make another pit stop as well. Cool Dude Boy down the inside on the way down to Indianapolis, and he's through on the Porsche. So Cool Dude Boy takes the lead of the GT class. Does Cool Dude Boy need to make another pit stop? I believe so. I could be mistaken, though. As we look now, if he does need to make another pit stop, Cinemod would be in a good position to take that last podium position. As Jamp comes up behind Bad Payoso, doesn't quite make the move into the second chicane, Mulsanne chicane. He's going to make it out of it, though. And he's through safely. Matt, still around about 17 seconds off of M. Hyde. Marson, just about 6.5 seconds back to Pat. Pat runs a little bit wide there. As Speckmare, quite a distance off the driver in front, and a solid gap behind as well. It's been a frustrating afternoon for SNL Jam, without doubt. It's not going to be one that he looks back on as thinking of an easy race, but, you know, props to every driver who's stuck it out so far. I know there's been a couple disconnects, and obviously that's always a shame to have happen, but props to everyone who tried to and who has stuck it out so far. Oh wow, I think M. Hyde might have made a little bit of a mistake, because Matt Psycho has gained several seconds since we last took a look at them. Meanwhile, Pat has gained little to no time, still 6.5 odd seconds between him and Marson. We look at Speckmare. He's currently making a little bit of a mistake. In that Joda car. It's, Joda are, of course, a customer team to Porsche in the current WE season. So that is a different Porsche than what we're using today. I'm using Porsche 919 today. I believe it's the 963 that they use this season in WEC for all of the Porsches and Porsche customer teams. The Jam races into what is still a sort of rising sun, I guess. Beautiful view coming under the Dunlop Bridge. And it's always great to see these beautiful cars just charging along a legendary track. Sunrise, sunset, middle of the day, middle of the night, doesn't matter to these drivers. They drive it completely regardless. They just full beams throughout the day, throughout the night. And it's really great to get to see this. And speaking of, we might get to see a battle pretty soon. 3.5 seconds is the gap between Pat and Marcin. We'll see if that closes some more. Looking back, Cool Dude Boy has about 6 seconds to Ntulu. Unless I am mistaken, Cool Dude Boy does still need to make another pit stop. I could be wrong. There's a lot of stuff to keep track of. But I believe he still needs to pit onto the mediums. There are some clouds up in the sky. None of them look too much like rain clouds, though. As Speckmare is now coming up behind Cool Dude Boy, so he'll be trying to lap Cool Dude Boy pretty soon. 12.7 seconds is the gap between your top two. Looked like a little bit of a mistake possibly there from Hyde. A little bit of a bad camera angle, so hard to tell. We'll watch the gap as Matt goes through that section of track. He did gain a few tenths there, so maybe a little bit of a mistake from Hyde. And if we look, let's look, cockpit cam of DRP Marcin. Look in the rearview mirrors. Nothing there. But is that a car just on the horizon? I believe it is, because if we go back to Pat, there's Marcin up there. So Pat is, definitely chasing down Marcin. Looks like Marcin and Pat possibly running a tiny bit wide there. Both managing to make the corner alright. Thingy-majig saying it's patter time, not unlike hammer time. I'd be thrilled to see what patter time looks like. Though I suppose we're seeing it now, as Pat is absolutely on the charge. His fastest lap, his personal fastest lap of the race, a 3:26.005, set just last lap. If we compare that to, say, Hyde's laps as of recent, he's been setting 27s and 28s. So Matt has been just on another level, but Pat is probably the second fastest man on track right now. So let's go back to Pat, because he's not far off. Or tell you what, let's just quickly take a quick look through the GT field. Some calm before the storm. There's our leader, as that's actually Pavsky making a little bit of a mistake right behind our leader, Hyde. Hyde 10 seconds in front of Matt. It's going to be a massive, very tall order for Matt to catch all that time in the next couple laps. But I'm sure he'll be trying his absolute hardest. And now we look at Marcin and Pat, both running pretty wide there, but both pushing on nonetheless. Pat is watched as he tries to challenge Marcin. Pat's got the worst tires in terms of wear, but the softer tires. He also has absolutely no concerns about fuel, which, judging by the difference in his fuel and Marston's fuel, I wonder if Marston might have some concerns. He might have to fuel save. Let's go to an off-board camera here. Just quickly, check out that Specmare is running fine, Jam is running fine. Cool Dude Boy, our current leader, I think needs to pit, but I'm not even sure at this point. Intulu, running alright. Cool Dude Boy's really low on fuel also, so he might be hoping to do a really short final pit stop, only refuels for a couple of laps, puts on the mediums, and runs those laps. Here comes Pat, though, in that black and orange Porsche. He goes to the inside, and he's through into third before the braking zone. So he's through into third, he makes the corner alright. No concerns there. Sounded like some noise up ahead, couldn't tell what it was though. It looks like the two GT cars of Rob and Bad Payoso. We've got two battles going on here. Let's go back to this one. Is Marston close enough to do anything? I don't think he's going to be. He's not. Will he even get past Rob on drums and Bad Payoso? He gets past Rob on drums. Pat makes it past Bad Payoso before the second chicane, but Marston can't. So Marston does have to clear this back marker before he can go chasing after Pat again. He manages that quite smoothly. And Pat is in third. He's got 8/10 back now. Marston will want to gain that back. Will he be able to? That is an entire other story. As Thingy-Majig saying, you have to say something cliche, like catching is one thing, overtaking is another. Oh, don't worry, it's done. Come on, Pat. Yep, so Pat, I was thinking that, overtaking, it's not too difficult on this circuit compared to others, but overtaking is still a whole ordeal in and of itself, as Intulu and Cool Dude Boy both pitting. So they're both pitting. Is Cinnamon in a exceptionally good position all of a sudden? We'll keep an eye on that. But yeah, overtaking here compared to other circuits isn't the most difficult thing in the world, but as a whole, it is still an entire other ordeal compared to just catching. But Pat managed it exceptionally well, and despite that little mistake he made at Arnage when we came on board with him there, he is doing very well to keep that gap up to Marston. Marston has fallen 2 seconds off of Pat, and if I were Hyde, I would just be trying to keep it out of the gravel, because any little mistake will cost M. Hyde the race at this point. But as it stands, M. Hyde looks pretty safe, and Tulu fueling up quite a bit. Cool Dude Boy only going halfway, he's putting the mediums on. Cinnamod is into second, and Tulu has fueled up quite a bit. I don't know that he's fueled up. I think he might have fueled up more than he needs to, all things considered, because, well, he's only got 2 laps left, 1 or 2 laps left. As we start the final lap, white flag, M. Hyde, is he going to maintain the lead on this last lap? He's got 5 seconds back to Matt Psycho. Matt is pushing so hard right now. At this rate, he might just come up to the back of M. Hyde by the end of the lap, but I don't think he'll be able to get the overtake done. We will watch that with great interest, though, as our GT category, Cool Dude Boy, comfortably in first. I was right, he did need to pit again, but he's pulled something of a masterclass, only boxing with a couple laps left. He's onto the mediums, it's a short medium stint. Cinnamon into second, and then Tulu, I think, might have fueled up a little bit too much in the end, because he doesn't need to go 7 more laps, he needs to go 1 or 2 more laps. As that is... Oh, and that's Bad Payoso, out of fuel. Out of fuel down the Mulsanne straight is Bad Payoso. The Fanta Porsche, not quite the Fanta C, that they might have been having in mind. 3.7 seconds between our top two. It's the final lap. M. Hyde should be safe, but Matt's not letting him go. Let's ride on board with Matt for just a moment longer. He's gaining, but it might not be enough. And 2 loop, 4 something seconds off of Cinemod. Looks like he might also struggle to catch Cinemod, as that is our race leader now. Behind Ntulu, now in front of. Ntulu is on his last lap as well. Ntulu is definitely fueled up too much. I'm not sure Ntulu needed to pit again, unfortunately for him. He may have made a little bit of a mistake there. 3.4 seconds. The Leighton House Porsche is in the background. The red, black, and white Porsche in the foreground. There it goes. Oh, that's a mistake. That's a mistake for Ntulu back there. Ntulu makes a mistake. SNL Jam comes out of the pits. It looks like he didn't have enough fuel, so it's a bit of a splash and dash right at the end. Come on, Matthew, says thingy-majig. Well, it's looking like it's too little, too late. Might not have been too little, but it certainly was too late. Matt Psycho's strategy just doesn't quite work out as well as M. Hyde's. So M. Hyde is coming through the Porsche curves. 2.5 seconds is the gap. It's not going to be a big gap in the end, but it's just going to be too much. Marson actually pits now. But through the 4 chicanes, after 40 laps of grueling racing, an intricate strategy, and some excellent driving, it's M. Hyde who comes across the line. We have a new winner in SNL, followed by Matt Psycho in second, but take a bow, M. Hyde. You are the newest SNL winner. The pole, on debut, wins the race. As DRP Marson finishes the race in the pits, Cinemod takes second in the GT class. People finishing all over the place. And Tulu takes third in the GT class. So an excellent result for Cinemod on his return to SNL, and a solid result for Ntulu. What could have been if he hadn't taken that pit stop? I do wonder. He would have lost a lot of time. It was a tricky situation. Cool Dude Boy has the win confirmed in GT. Only man on that lap. Coming up to the line next, I believe, well, Rob on Drums finishes the race in 4th. That's a great result for him in the GT class. Specmare next in that Jota Porsche. Comes across the line in 5th place overall and in class. A solid result for the Brit. Next across the line will be SNL Jam. No on-track battles going on. Poor Bad Payoso still limping along the Mulsanne straight with no fuel. Here comes Pat. Careful there, boys. Pat goes round the outside, and impressed that you can get oversteer at that low speed for Bad Payoso. But here comes SNL Jam. He'll be the final. He'll be the last place of the LMP drivers. A tough day for the man. It was looking good. An interesting strategy right at the start, getting off the mediums right away. Just hasn't gone his way today, though. As SNL Jam is going to come across the line to finish 6th in class and on track. And that is him across the line. Who is next? somebody... Oh, that's the guy in the pits. Who would be next then? That is Bad Payoso getting a bump draft from Cool Dude Boy, ever the sportsman. Okay, possibly not intentionally. That is that. So Pat comes third, though. I was waiting for that to happen. I've just dropped my phone. Pat comes third. It's pole position to victory for M. Hyde, though, in the SNL Le Mans 23. An excellent race from the pole sitter, the pole sitter, all the poles. And that is that. I will save the replay, just in case. It's been great fun commentating. Lots of comments towards the end. Good job to our winners, M. Hyde and Cool Dude Boy. Great job to our second and third place finishers in both categories as well, though. Matt and Pat, as well as Cinemod and Intulu. Congratulations all round. I will take a look at the results for you. So, here's our results. That's our top 8. It's M. Hyde, Matt Psycho, VRC Pat, DRP Marson, Specmare, and SNL Jam are your LMP drivers, all of which finished the race. Cool Dude Boy takes victory in the GT class, followed by Cinemod, Intulu, Rob on drums, Pavsky, and Bad Payosu, who unfortunately ran out of fuel, and our non-finishers both, I believe, disconnects, internet connection issues, Speed Hunter and SNL Wolfbane, both of which were running decently well, particularly Speed Hunter, who was in the lead of the GT category when he disconnected. Thank you, Matt Sykes, for saying nice job. Great drive, guys. From what I can tell, that might be the nail in my coffin from SNL Jam. Lots of compliments all round in the chat. Good to see. It's been an honor commentating today. I've had a lot of fun. I suppose I should say fastest laps quickly. Matt Psycho takes fastest lap in LMP and overall. And in GT, the fastest lap goes to Cool Dude Boy, with a 357.384 and a 322.395. Rob on drums saying, what, no rain? Suppose we sort of messed up the "it always rains at Le Mans" saying, but great race nonetheless. Thank you, Rob and Pat, for the compliments. Well done, everyone, says Pat. I completely agreed. Everyone drove excellently that race. It was great fun to commentate on. And I think I'll end the stream there. Thank you to everybody who watched. It's been good fun. This has been Sunday Night League, a special one-off race at Le Mans. Believe we're back next with GTE in September, I want to say. You know, if you're in the Discord, you can keep posted there. And of course, always watch for new streams on the YouTube. We will be back sooner than you know. Thank you for watching, and goodbye.